So what do I love about my dad? Well, for one thing, he is a man of few words, or at the very least, he can phrase things into very concise points. For instance, when I moved down here about 8 years ago, my dad assisted and we drove all my things down the Alcan Highway. I lived in Alaska. So the whole way up through the Alaska North Passage into the British Columbia area and into Washington, my dad every day would say, "It's beautiful country, but there's a lot of it." It didn't stop there. So once we get into Washington, we're trying to get to my condo. Everywhere we go, we're barricaded because there's some sort of bike marathon thing going on. And about a month later, there's an election going on, and they're trying to generate some money and decide to tax caffeine, tax coffee. My dad says, "Well, you know what they ought to do? They ought to tax that spandex."
I'm on a beach, Sunny Beach. I met a guy that called me a Sunny Beach. Flying a kite.
Is that same Sunny Beach?
There's other kites over there.
A couple years ago, I took my husband up for a winter trip in Alaska, and we went snowmobiling and rented a cabin. And while we're out hanging out at the cabin, my husband's chopping some wood for the fire, and my dad comes out sipping his coffee, and he's telling my husband, "So how's that work to fun ratio going?" And it would turn out later that on the way home we get a flat, and my husband's down there trying to torque the nuts off of anyway, to try to change the tire in the sub-zero temperatures, in the snow. It's miserable. Dad's sort of like going, "I think that work to fun ratio is kind of, off the scale there." Come on, Dad, it's a big one. We gotta get the big one in the boat.
Yeah, I want to see at least like 35 come out.
It's good to watch Dad struggle. You only got like 3 minutes to get this in. I tell you, there is just not a moment where he doesn't come up with something witty to say, funny to rhetorical, and just a man of few words. And I just love him dearly. These phrases will stay with me forever. They just are nonstop. We've started to write them down. We've already come up with a dadisms list, and one day we might write a book. I would really enjoy winning this trip for him, for us. I enjoy getting to go out and spend time with him. A couple years ago, we planned to go actually to the San Juan Islands area, and I managed to have a knee injury, so haven't done that yet. So this would be really great. Anyway, I love my dad. He's touched my heart. Thank you. All right, Dad.
You're not supposed to be able to do that.